The thief, without knowing it, had landed precisely at the point from which he had set out. Being instantly recognized, he was politely invited to walk in. To this kind invitation, the thief replied by throwing down the blankets and taking to his heels, thus making, with his own hands, a restitution which was very far from being intended. Poor McPherson, however, did not get all his stolen blankets back in this way. This, however, is a digression. To proceed with our tale. One night, when McPherson was absent, attending a market at some distance, an elderly female appeared at the door, with the usual demand of a night's lodging, which, with the usual hospitality of Morvain, was at once complied with. The stranger, who was a remarkably tall woman, was dressed in widow's weeds and of rather respectable appearance. Her deportment was grave, even stern, and altogether she seemed as if suffering from some recent affliction. During the whole of the early part of the evening, she sat before the fire with her face buried between her hands, heedless of what was passing around her, and was occasionally observed rocking to and fro with that kind of motion that bespeaks great internal anguish. It was noticed, however, that she occasionally stole a look at those who were in the apartment with her, and it was marked by all, but whether this was merely the effect of imagination, for all felt that there was something singular and mysterious about the stranger, or was really the case, we cannot decide. That, in these furtive glances, it was marked by all that in these furtive glances there was a peculiarly wild and appalling expression. The stranger spoke none, however, during the whole night, but continued from time to time rocking to and fro in a manner already described. Neither could she be prevailed upon to partake of any refreshment, although repeatedly pressed to do so. All invitations of this kind she declined with a wave of the hand, or a melancholy yet determined inclination of the head. In words, she made no reply. The singular conduct of this woman threw a damp over all who were present. They felt chilled, they knew not how, and were sensible of the influence of an indefinable terror, for which they could not account. For once, therefore, the feeling of comfort and security, of which all were conscious who were seated around McPherson's cheerful and hospitable hearth, was banished, and a scene of awe and dread supplied its base. Place. No one could conjecture who this strange personage was, where she